morning or afternoon.
How are you, brother?
How are you doing?
Very good, very good.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get this thing. Okay, switched it so I can see what. And, okay, just um, how's wifey?
She's doing well. We we will have an approximate date this coming Friday for the surgery.
Okay,
Yeah,
and she's keeping up, or you're? I should ask you if you're keeping up.
yeah. it's it has been difficult, a lot of emotions and everything, but
Yeah.
we trust in that procedure, and it will be for better to have her many more years, Lord willing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're in our prayers. She's in our prayers. Um, you know, we just bring
Yeah, I appreciate
that she
that, brother.
performed. Yeah, we'll, our prayers are with you, brother, definitely. Who is this person on this side? Um, am I seeing? Let me see if. Okay, we're about to start. Just waiting for a while. Okay, now I'm gonna start.
Just got done with that other the Ecclesiastes sermon. I think you'll like it a little better than the first one. Probably still needs work, but
Okay.
improvements were made.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see
Um,
about that, huh?
yes. Yes. Um, and I wanted to say some things too about or what we're going to be doing because the final class is on Thursday. Um, I'll say it now, and then, of course, um, I don't want to do anything that would take this out. Let me see something. Uh, okay. I want to see. Do I need the PT? Why is this so big? Let me minimize this. Okay, great. Um, just yeah, I just want to say some things about the where we go in from here. All right, we have two more classes today and the one on the one on Thursday. I have to say this over again when others join into the class. Um, all right, but here's how we're going to be doing. We got up to we should be completing Ecclesiastes 9 through to 12, and then go through to Solomon, uh, the first four chapters and the last four chapters. But we only have two classes left. I think I'd sent you all an email, and I think we all got it. And here's what we're going to be doing. I will record the class for Ecclesiastes 9 to 12 so that we can finish that up. And that should, by this week, I hope to have the recording up. Maybe anytime after Wednesday. But you should be doing the final test on Song of Solomon when we finished the book of Songs of Solomon. So that would we finish on Thursday. What will happen is that the test will be up on Friday, right? The test will be up on Friday after the class because you won't you can't do Ecclesiastes until Solomon is we have finished the book. So when we finish the book on Thursday, the test will be up on Friday. All right. And then you'll have again up to the following Friday to finish the test. All right. But then you have one sermon on Ecclesiastes and one sermon on Songs of Solomon to write. And that would be it. So I will ensure that so Chip, you have started Ecclesiastes. I don't know about you, David, how far you are in with the Ecclesiastes or with other sermons. But if within Thursday the class ends, Friday it would be the test. Opening, you have until that Friday. So that sermon, those two sermons, if you could give it to me maybe by the Wednesday of the following week. All right. And that would complete your assessments. All right. Sounds like a plan? Oh, Emmanuel is here now. Okay. So let me go on what I'm saying. We have two classes left and we will complete Songs of Solomon on Thursday. You will have the final test on the Friday. The test will be opened on Friday and it will be up for 1 week until the following Friday. Then on the Wednesday of that week, if you have not completed Ecclesiastes and Songs of Solomon, you'll have until that Wednesday or up, let me be more generous, until that following Friday. So if we're dealing with dates, this Friday is the 6th. Good. So the 6th is when the test will be open. It will close on the 13th. And you have until the 20th to give me the two sermons. Sounds like a plan? And then the recording will be done. I will have the recording up for Ecclesiastes Wednesday, but by latest the Thursday, so you can watch the rest of the Ecclesiastes. Okay, so that's the plan. All right. Any questions on that? No. All right. Okay. Let's go now into this is lecture 14. And we are going to be looking at Songs of Solomon. All right. Now, let's begin first of all with the title of the title of the book. Now, this book has several controversies, has several interpretations, have several there's a lot of debate about the book. So let's look at the title of the book. And if you the title in verse 1, chapter 1, verse 1 says, the songs of songs, which is Solomon. All right. Now, the book, Songs of Solomon, and I might call it SS sometimes, the book has three names. There are three names that are usually attributed to the book. The first one is the Song of Solomon. It is sometimes called the Song of Songs. And it is also called the Canticles, Canticles. So it is the Song of Solomon, Song of Songs, and the Canticles. So that's the title of the book. Now,
once more for me, brother.
Spell it again. Canticles. All right. And what I would very much encourage you to do is that there is Daniel Steersman's notes. It is very important and critical that you be familiar with it and that you read his notes on Songs of Solomon. They're very, very important. Very, very, very important that you read it. Okay, so here's how in the Hebrew text, this is how the book is titled. The book it begins with these words: Song of Songs. All right, and the suggestion here, the idea here, is that it means the best of songs or the most excellent song. Now, if you notice, there is the repetition of the Song of Songs. All right? Now, this is what we call it's the Hebrew way of expressing the superlative, the highest point. It is you have the degrees of comparison. Now, the highest degree of comparison, the highest point, is a superlative. So the word or the phrase, the word from which the Song of Solomon comes is the Hebrew Shir Hashirim. And I'm going to spell that. 2 words, S-H-I-R and H-A-S-H-I-R-I-M. So the Shir Hashirim. Now, what it is the Song of Songs. Now, there are 2 things about that expression as we look at the title. Number 1, if you notice, it is Song of Songs. So there are 2 concepts here. There are 2 ideas here. There is the use of what is called the genitive. Now, the genitive, I'm doing it now from an English point of view. I'm not sure if that is the Spanish as well, but I'm sure about English. When we talk about, it's easy to recognize the genitive because it has of, of. So it in English, the of whatever shows the possession. It shows ownership, right? So the book of the man's book, that kind of thing. So the idea with the Song of Songs is that there are 2 issues here. Number 1, it could be called, and then you need to know this, it could be called the genitive of composition. And what does that mean? It means this song belongs to a composition, a collection of love songs. It is the song of these collection of love songs. So in that interpretation, it is seen as, the book is seen as being a united book, one book that contains a collection of love songs. So it is the genitive of composition. How is the book put together? That's one interpretation of what the Song of Songs mean. There is another interpretation of what Song of Songs mean, and that is, it is called the genitive construction. All right, what does that mean? How the book is put together. And in this sense, it means the most excellent song. If we see it as a genitive of composition, we're saying it's a united book that has a collection within it, a collection of love songs. If we look at it in terms of the genitive of construction, it is that within this book, it is superlative. It is the most excellent songs, the best songs that Solomon has that has been put together. All right? So there are two views, two interpretations regarding what Song of Song means in the title. Now, if we look at that kind of expression, can you think of anything in the scriptures that would have this of whatever to name something? Can you think of any example that would fit that kind of construction of this, of that? All right, let me give you one that you can that you should know. Vanity of vanities. What does that mean? When Solomon says vanity in Ecclesiastes, vanity of vanities, what does he mean? That's in Ezekiel 1:1 and throughout the book of Ezekiel. It means this is total meaninglessness. It is total, it's a breath, it is nothing. So we have vanity of vanities. We also have the Holy of Holies. That is, it is the most holy place. You can't get more holy than that. All right, and so I'll just give you the passages. So that expression comes in Exodus 29, verse 37, and chapter 26 and verse 33, the Holy of Holies. Can you think of any other?
Lord of Lords.
Right, Lord of Lords. There's no other Lord above him. But you also have this, both in the Old Testament and New Testament, he is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So Daniel 2:37, that phrase occurs. Ezekiel 26:7 and verse 1, that phrase occurs. And it also is found in 1 Timothy 6:15. All right, so here is the idea. The Song of Songs literally means the best songs, the most sublime song. All right, so in this kind of the Song of Songs, it is suggesting that within the book Song of Songs or Song of Solomon, these are the best pieces of literature, best piece of writing that Solomon has ever done. Now, notice what it says. It says Song of Solomon. I'm looking at the title. Here is what is implied in the title. It is the best of songs that belong to Solomon. There are some and we'll come back to that when we look at the authorship. There are some people who would say this means that the book was not written by Solomon. Why? Because it suggests that it is Songs of Solomon is a collection of songs collected by an editor or a compiler who took Solomon's writings and put them together in a single unified poem. All right, in this case, a love poem. But there is also the view that says it is the best of Solomon songs that belong to Solomon. So Solomon is the writer. Now, we have no reason, when we come to look at the authorship, we will see that. We have no reason to doubt Solomon writing the songs. Why would we not doubt that Solomon wrote the song? Let me ask a question a different way. Is Solomon capable of writing the best love poetry that we could find? Is he capable of doing that? All right. How do you know that? David is agreeing with me. How do you know that?
He was the wiser man on earth at this moment.
No, he's not the wiser man, he's the wisest man.
Wisest, sorry.
Right, okay. All right. So we know from 1 Kings 4 and verse 32 that Solomon wrote over 3,000 proverbs, and that he wrote over 1,000 songs. That's what 1 Kings 4:32 tells us. So we don't doubt whether or not Solomon has the ability to create and compose such a song. All right, so that's the title. Now let's look at the authorship and date. Now, there is the view within scholarship, within the academic world, that says Solomon is not the writer. They dispute the fact that Solomon actually wrote the book. All right? Now, but here is it. Both internal evidence within the book and external evidence outside of the book, suggest that Solomon is the writer. Now, where is the internal evidence that we have that Solomon is the writer? Good. We have the book or the writings, a direct reference to Solomon. All right. For time's sake, I'll just give it to you and we will look at it. All right. So in chapter 1 and verse 1, verse 5 of chapter 1, all right, verse 5 of chapter 1, okay, chapter 3 and verse 7, verse 9 and verse 11, chapter 11, verses 8 to 12, and names Solomon within the book. That is one. Within the book, we'll look at internal evidence now. Within the book, chapter 1 and verse 4, verse 12, chapter 3 and verse 9, and verse 11, and chapter 7 and verse 5 says that it is the king. All right? So here is Solomon the king. We know that that would suggest that Solomon is the writer. Besides the fact that he has written so many proverbs and songs. All right? So what we have is that within the book itself claims that Solomon is its author. All right? Now, there is controversy, as I said, about who actually is the writer. Okay? Now, those who say that Solomon is the author, they place the date of the book somewhere between 971 BC and 931 BC during the reign of Solomon. All right? Now, those who see this as the song that Solomon is a writer say that the book perhaps was written during the early part of his reign. And if that is the case, then the book was written sometime between it was written in 965 BC, which would put us between the date 971 and 931. There are some who say Solomon wrote the book in the middle of his reign, which would put him still at 950 BC. All right? Now, there are others who accept that Solomon wrote the book, say that it was written in the latter part of his reign, and that would be sometime around 950 BC. So there is controversy, as I said, as to who wrote it and when it was written. All right, now, here is something else that we need to look at. Now, those who reject the idea that Solomon is the writer, they say that the book was written during the post-exilic period, that is after the exile. And what they suggest is that based on their interpretation of the Hebrew grammar, all right, it suggests, based on the Hebrew grammar, that it was written at a later date than those who affirm that it was written sometime between 971 and 931 BC. Now, so their date is that it was written sometime about 250 BC. Now, here is the date that we're going to be accepting. Since within the internal evidence, Solomon is named in the book and named as the king, then we are going to accept that not only did he write it, but that the book was written during Solomon's time in 960 BC, sometime around that time. All right? So that's the authorship and that's the date of the book, which is important before we get into the verses itself. Any questions or comments that anybody wants to make. Is that okay?
Do you have external evidences
That that external evidence that what?
of Solomon's writing or Solomon's authorship?
Well, I didn't find any much, but there is. I can give you an answer to that question on Thursday. All right.
Okay.
What are the specific external evidence that says that he wrote the book? All right. Any other question before we move on? All right. In order for us to understand the book, we need to determine the speakers in the book and the voices in the book. All right, because that is also a significant feature of the Songs of Solomon. Now, there are three primary voices within the book of Solomon. There is the Song of Solomon. There's one, a woman. Two, a man. And three, a chorus. And the chorus is identified as daughters of Jerusalem. Now, it will make our interpretation of the book more accessible if we understand who is speaking and which voice the person is speaking in. All right? So, who is speaking when and who is speaking at what time? Now, in the Hebrew language, and of course, my Hebrew, he's being very modest, he's going to be very modest. My Hebrew scholar, Emmanuel, all right, will know that in Hebrew, there's a feminine and there is the masculine, all right, markers in the book. In other words, you can have well, let me ask the scholar to explain for me if he understands about the masculine and the feminine. You want to give us a try, Emmanuel? There's the masculine pronoun, there is the feminine pronoun. It doesn't mean gender. Yes, go ahead.
David is a king of Hebrews.
David is what?
He is the king of Hebrews.
All right. Yeah, but how does that relate to masculine and feminine?
Normally,
David, are you doing Hebrew?
Yeah, I'm taking Hebrew with.
Oh yes, well, no, but you have to help him out as well.
Normally, you recognize that at the end of the word. So, if it ends with the sounds like ah, and it's feminine. It sometimes ends with the ending him. It can be most of the time is plural for masculine. So you can
All right.
recognize that.
Okay, all right. So for Chip's sake, feminine and masculine doesn't mean gender, right? It just means the markers, they're linguistic markers, all right? They're grammatical markers. They're not. It does not have anything to do with gender or not. But let me show you what I mean. So when the person is addressed, the groom uses the masculine you, all right, and the bride uses the feminine you. Now, here is the issue that we need to understand. What is the idea here as to know who is speaking? The female says, my love. All right? The man says, my beloved. So, my love, the woman is speaking. My beloved, the man is speaking. And the you, all right, is the chorus of the, not the you, the we. The daughters of Jerusalem uses the first person plural, you know, I, he, I, you, he, she, it. Now, the plural of I is we. So the chorus of the daughters of Jerusalem, they use the we. So they say, the woman says, my love, the man says, my beloved, the chorus says, we. And that is how we know who is speaking at what time and in what voice they're speaking. All right. So it's going to be important that we understand the different voices and speakers within the poem, within, yes, the poem, the love poem, Song of Solomon. All right. Here is another point that we need to look at. The structure, the structural pattern of the book. Now, that was the grammatical thing about the masculine and feminine, the you, my beloved, and all of that. Now, what we have within the book, and you have to watch for this, is where there's a direct address. That is, somebody is talking directly to somebody. The woman is talking to the man. The man is talking to the woman. That's a direct address between both of them. But also within that structure is what we have a call response pattern. So the call response pattern is that the woman calls, the man responds. The man calls, the woman responds. All right? And the chorus, what the chorus does is to agree with either the woman or the man. And that's the structure of the Book of Solomon. All right? Now, so that is going to be important as to that must be important. That is important as well in terms of the call response pattern within the book. There's also something else that we need to look at within the book. Because the book is poetry, there are, what we are going to expect within the book then is the book will have similes, comparisons. This is like that. There's going to be metaphors. This is that. All right. There is also going to be visual images. There's going to be allegory, or allegory if you want to call it, where a direct reference is made to something. So all of these, we would have to understand what is happening and how the language is being used. All right, let me take a little break here now for a while. what is it that you have understood from what I've been saying so far about what, okay, let me ask the question a different way. What is it that you have found impressive about Songs of Solomon so far as we have discussed?
Well, no, are you asking what we're impressed with or what
Or
we've
what you have
learned so
gained
far?
from what I've discussed
Okay.
already, yeah.
All right. All right. So learned that we're gonna be hearing three different voices throughout
Mm-hmm.
the book. It's a compilation of songs.
Mm-hmm.
We know because of the internal evidence that Solomon wrote it. If he wrote it because he refers to himself as king in the book, it would have to be during his kingship. So that dates the book to 960. Just a few things I got.
All right, okay, great. Emmanuel, what about you?
We can also understand the book or interpret the book because the book is poetry. You must also know that you see a lot of metaphor, you also see a lot of
You will
simile,
see.
just to
Mm-hmm.
differentiate whom the person or the statement is referring to.
All right, okay.
And also, we also see allegory
Mm-hmm.
in the book and some of the structures that will help us to understand the meaning of the passage.
Okay, great. Okay, lovely. David, what about you?
I I was thinking about the name. I hear that there are some. I know you will talk about this later, but I hear that there are some interpretations that this is just a regular marriage between a man and a woman, or
Mm-hmm.
this is a relationship between Israel and God. But
Mm-hmm.
I love that because either way, it's about marriage, and God made relations between the church and Christ, Israel and God, and about the marriage. And I love how this is the song of songs. So this is like, I don't know, thinking about that relationship, and God saying this is the best of the best. And I like that about the title.
Okay, all right, great. All right, now, um, David, David brought up something about the whole question of the different interpretations of the book. All right, now let us look at that. The commentators, theologians, scholars, whatever you want to call them, all right, this book competes with the book of Revelation in this regard. In the same way that there are different interpretations and approaches to the book of Revelation, whether it is futurist, preterist, whatever, the book of Solomon also lends itself to different interpretations. Now, one of the major interpretations, and David made reference to it, but we're going to question that afterwards, is that this book is about the either God's love for Israel or Christ's love for the church. Now, there are some approaches that I want us to look at. Number one, there is the literal interpretation. That is, there is the literal approach to interpreting the book. What's that literal approach to interpreting the book? What's that? in this view of the book, the literal approach, the literal interpretation, the idea is that the work that is the Book of Solomon, Songs of Solomon, is a celebration of marital love. It's about marriage. It's about a covenant, right? Because marriage is a covenant, not a contract. It's a covenant. All right? Now, what is this then? That the book is a celebration of married love or marital love. Solomon is expressing his love for a young woman called the Shulamite woman. Shulamite, the Shulamite woman. Now, in this interpretation, within the book, what is being sanctioned through this love poetry is a celebration of marriage. So,
Thank you.
say it again. It's a celebration of marriage. And this is how the book is viewed. It is viewed as God's gift of physical intimacy, which is to be found and had only in marriage. Now, the book is not about promiscuity, it's not about fornication, it's about the beauty of marital love, the sexual union within the marriage bond. So that is one view of the book. Good. In fact, if you want to, in a nutshell, to say what God's view of marriage, of marriage is, it is chastity before marriage and fidelity in marriage. Broadly, that's the biblical view of sexual intimacy. Chastity before marriage and fidelity in marriage. Now, so that's the literal approach. There is also the allegorical approach. What is this allegorical approach? Well, first of all, what's an allegory? Now, it is where a greater meaning is given to the ideas behind the words that are used, or within what is being said, what is being communicated, there is a greater meaning, a more purposeful meaning. All right? So in this allegorical approach, the idea is that it is used, the book is about an allegory about Christ's love and relationship to the church. That's the view, that the book is all about the relationship, all right, between God's love for his church. All right? That's for the Christian. For the Hebrew Jews, it would be God's love for Israel. Now, we have a number of allegories in the Bible. Galatians chapter 4, 21 to 31 is one. We will come to look at Hosea. Well, this is not a minor prophets class, but in the story of Hosea in chapter 3 and verse 1, that is also an example of allegory. So in the allegorical approach, it is where it is used, this book is used to give a deeper meaning than merely suggesting the love that God has either for Israel or Christ's love for the church. All right? There is also another view. There is the view that is the typical interpretation or the typological interpretation, the typical interpretation. And what is this? It is where the issues in the book, the song is when I say song, I mean Songs of Solomon. The song has a literal historical meaning, right? Yes, there is the Solomon's love for the Shulamite woman, but there is also a deeper meaning, a deeper function. That is, it typifies, it points to the love of Christ for the church. It's not the same as the allegorical one, because what it does, it combines the literal with the allegorical. All right. And again, I'm suggesting to you, Dr. Steersman has a very good section in his notes about that you need to read. Now, the last one I want to look at is the interpretation that says the song is a collection of love lyrics, and it is arranged in a way that we have one, the opening and closing of courtship. It begins with the courtship, the opening of the courtship. It ends with the closing of the courtship. But between the beginning and the end, there is the wedding. All right? So those are the different understanding and interpretation of the book. All right? Now, let's look at the purpose and the content, the themes of the book. Let's deal first of all with the purpose of the book. The book of Songs of Solomon, it is a portrayal. The purpose of the book is to present the beauty, the sanctity, and the value of godly marriages. It is about the beauty, the sanctity, and the value of a godly marriage, what God conceives a marriage to be. All right, that's the purpose of the book. If we look at the theme of the book, we have the beauty of the emotional and the physical union between a man and a woman in marriage. What's God's ordained will for marriage? All right. So it is the emotional and the physical union between a man and a woman in marriage. Now, what I want us to do is now to look at and give you an outline of the book. All right. The book, we can divide the book into 4 chapters, 4 major divisions, if you wish. First of all, there is the falling in love. The falling in love. What do we have in this section? There is the meeting and the courtship. And that goes from chapter 1 through to chapter 3 and verse 5. What's involved in this section? We see in this section a progression, the relationship that is going to lead to a marriage. Not about that, not about promiscuity. It is where the bride to be advocates and is courting her lover or to be lover. All right.
Your title
So,
for that again?
It is
1 through 3, 5.
Yes, right. And it is about falling in love. That is the meeting and the courtship. That's what we see there. The second aspect of this outline, we could look at united in love. That is the wedding itself. And that goes from chapter 3, verse 6 through to chapter 5 and verse 1. All right. So what we have here, though we don't have a presentation of the wedding itself, the ceremony itself, Solomon is describing here the beauty of his bride on the wedding night. And Solomon is describing the consummation of the marriage. All right. And again, in this section, it is emphasizing the sanctity and the joy of the physical union. All right. So we have they are now united in love. Moving on from that, when we get to chapter 5, verse 2 to chapter 7 and verse 10, we have the struggling in love. What's that about? Solomon and his bride, having been married, they're going to face trials. All right. So there is going to be annoyance. There's going to be insecurity. But that is going to be the challenges that they're facing within their marriage. That is chapter 5, verse 2 to chapter 7 and verse 10. Then we come to now, they're growing in love. So they're falling in love, they're united in love, they're struggling in love, and now they're growing in love. They're making progress. All right? What is that? That goes from chapter 7, verse 11, through to chapter 8 and verse 14. Okay? And here now, they deepen their intimacy, and they overcome their trials. That's one possible outline. Now then, let's look at another suggestion of an outline. All right? And here we have the courtship and the dating. That is from chapter 1 through to chapter 3 and verse 5. Then we have the wedding and the honeymoon from chapter 3, verse 6 to chapter 5 and verse 1. That is the wedding and the honeymoon. Then from chapter 5 and verse 2 to chapter 8 and verse 14, we have the post honeymoon. All right, the post honeymoon. And in this case, now they're building their lasting relationship. All right, now that's just a brief sort of outline of the book, where I think it's best that we look at how to view the book. But again, I'm referring you to Brother Steersman's book regarding, and it's in the LMS. So you please make sure that you read that. All right. Now let's look now at the chapters itself. Okay. All right. We won't spend much time on verse 1 because we have done that in the title. Now, here the woman is speaking. Between verses 2 and 4, the woman is speaking, and she is expressing her desires. All right? Now, this Shulamite woman, this Shulamite bride, she is now in a monologue. She's now we talk about the voice and who is speaking. This is now a monologue. She's talking to an audience, but there's no immediate audience there. She's just talking to her feelings. She is revealing her feelings. That's the monologue. And here's what she says. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine. Your anointing oils are fragrant. Your name is poured out. Therefore, virgins love you. Draw me after you. Let us run. The king has brought me into his chamber. All right. Now, here is the context. The bride is having a conversation with the groom. And what is she doing here in these verses? Let me hear your view. What is she doing here in these verses?
Flattery.
Flattery. She's expressing her love. All right. All right. She is expressing how she feels. But let us look at what she says. All right. Anybody else wants to comment? And I will look at what she says in verse 2. We're going to go right to verse 4. All right,
She wants to be together with him So that no others have him, it kind of sounds like.
Okay, all right. Yeah, she wants to be with him, definitely. All right. She is desiring him. All right. Now, and this is all God ordained in terms of um, this, as I'm saying, this is not promiscuity. This is not illicit sex. This is not fornication. It is her genuine feeling for her soon to be husband. And here's what she says. She says, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine. All right? Better than wine. She is being clear, she's being explicit, she's being frank. And what she's saying is two things. If you think of wine, she's saying, in the same way that wine intoxicates, in the same way that wine gives exhilaration, joy, and happiness, and bubbly feeling, and all of that. All right? She is saying, I delight in the the pleasures of your love. I enjoy your love. I want to be drunk with your love. And then she says, your anointing oils are fragrant. Your name is oil poured out. Therefore, virgins love you. Now, why oil? What is the image that she's trying to present here? What do you know about how oil is used in scripture?
People would be anointed with oil.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So or I guess she is saying that he is better than that anointing oil.
All right. Okay. What happens when somebody is anointed with oil? Who are the persons that were anointed with oil in the Old Testament? Prophet, priest, and king. So she is suggesting that there is a fragrance, there is an attractiveness, there is when she says your fragrance is better than oil, what she's saying, your presence is attractive. All right. It gives off an attractive smell that I want to be with you. And then when she says your name is poured out, in other words, your reputation is of such that it is well known. So what is she suggesting about her husband to be? You are not only personally attractive, but you are also morally attractive, and I want to be yours. Remember, she's courting, and I want to be yours. All right. So when she says, therefore virgins love you, all that she's saying is that you are admired not just by me, but you are widely admired. Yes, is that your hand up, Chip? Okay, all right. So what she's saying here is that you are physically attractive, you are morally attractive, but you are also, you have a reputation. You are admired by everybody else. Why? Because you have a name, your name is poured out like oil. All right? So here is what she is saying then. Draw me after you, let us run. The king has brought me into his chamber. Let us pursue this relationship with urgency. Because you let us be united in marriage. I want you to be mine. All right. This is, she's courting. But look now at how the structure changes. We will exalt and rejoice in you. We will exalt your love more than wine. Rightly do they love you. What is, who is speaking here? We. Who's speaking here? Who's the
Solomon,
we?
the bride and the bridegroom.
No,
No?
no.
Hmm.
Go back again to the voices, that the notes that we said about the voices. It is now the chorus that is speaking. It's the daughters of Jerusalem that are speaking.
So these are
And
the
what are,
bridesmaids.
okay, call them bridesmaids if you want. It is the daughters of Jerusalem that are speaking. And here's what they say. Yes, we will support you. We will celebrate with you. We will, we are on your side. We are encouraging you. You know why? Because you rightfully and truthfully and sincerely love your husband to be. So we will support you. We will exalt you. We are celebrating you. All right. So that's the point. Remember, we said the daughters of Jerusalem are using the we. All right. Make sense? All right. Any comments? David, Emmanuel, any comments? All right. Okay. It's quarter to basically. So let's take our break now, and then we'll come back at no. Is it, when do we take our break? Is it now? Or is it at what? It's now. And then we come back at,
3.
yes, and then we'll come back at 3. All right. And then we have an hour and a half to finish 3 chapters. All right. Okay, then. Let's take our break. Thinking that we're back again. Okay, let's continue. The last time, before we took our break, we ended at chapter, we're at now verses 5 through to 6. So the chorus, the daughters of Jerusalem have joined in celebrating with the woman, the bride, the daughter of the Shulamite woman, in her concept of courtship. Now, let's begin now with chapter 5, well, verses 5 to 6. Here's what she says. I am very lovely, O daughters of Jerusalem. So she's responding now to the daughters of Jerusalem. Like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon, do not gaze at me because I am dark, because the sun has looked upon me. My mother's sons were angry with me. They made me keep of the vineyards, but my own vineyard have I not kept. Tell me, you whom my soul loves, where you pasture your flock, where you make it lie down at noon. For why should I be like one who veils herself beside the flocks of your companions? All right. Now, here is what she is suggesting. All right. She now says she goes into a reflection of herself. She says she addresses the daughters of Jerusalem. And what she's saying is that now I am black, all right, but lovely. So she is now comparing herself. She's now comparing herself as a woman who works in the fields, who works in the vineyard. And she's saying that the reason she has become so dark is because of her exposure with the sun. And that was occasioned by her constant labor. So she's working in the vineyard. And she's saying, yes, I am black. Yes, I'm dark because of my working with the sun, in the sun. But don't stare at me because I'm beautiful. All right. And don't be angry with me because I was so involved in looking after the vineyard that I did not pay attention to myself. So don't stare at me like that. Don't treat me like that. Don't respond to me like that. All right. So, in a sense, this woman is doing two things. She is acknowledging her insecurity. She's not the upper class woman. All right. She's the rural woman that works in the field, and she has been there. She's doing that. So she says, but my own vineyard I have not kept. In other words, I have not looked after myself. All right. So she says, she calls the O daughters of Jerusalem, verse 5, like tents of Kedar. Now, the tents of the Kedar, um, there is a there is a contrast here I want us to see. There is the tent of there is the tents of Kedar, but here is it. Um, and there's also the curtains of Solomon. What is the point do you think that she's making here? There is the tent of Kedar. I am very black but lovely, O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. Here's the
I think what she's
contrast.
trying to
Yes,
say,
yes, yes, Chip. Hmm?
I think what she's trying to say is her skin is comparable to the tents that are found. I don't know where Kadar is. I'm imagining it's in a hot place under the sun. She's
Mm-hmm.
comparing her outer um, look to her inner look because the curtains of Solomon would be some sort of royalty within her, the value within her.
Exactly, right? So she's saying, not just, okay, two things. Very, very good point, Chip. Very good point. Because see, what she's suggesting is that even though I might be look at my appearance on the outside might be rugged and lack dignity, right? Like the withered tents of these nomadic tribes of Kedar. But you see, I am of humble origin, the tent of Kedar, but I am also both outside and within, I am royal beauty, like the tents of Solomon. Watch me. Do not gaze at me because I am dark, all right? But tell me, verse 7, you whom my soul loves. All right. So she's saying, don't gaze upon me because I am dark. Right. So she says, yes, I am not just two things. Literally, she's working in the vineyard. She's a keeper of the vineyard. So she's exhausted physically and it's going to show on her physical appearance. But outwardly, but inside, she is caring for others. Remember that she does it to the neglect of her own beauty, caring for the vineyard. But she's also beautiful like the like the curtains of Solomon. Now, if we come down to verse number 7, all right, um, she says, "Tell me, you whom my soul loves, where where you pasture your flock, where you make it lie down at noon. For why should I be like one who veils herself beside the flocks of your companions?" So she is now addressing him directly, and there is this idea of she is uh, very beautiful, very dutiful, and beautiful. And she says, I want you. I want to be near you every day. I want to lie down. Um, for why should I be like one who veils not herself? I want to veils herself beside the floods of your companions. So she is uh, telling him that I want to be with you. I'm beautiful, even though I have been working in the sun. All right. Now, Solomon now is going to respond to what she says. Remember, there is this monologue between two of them. He is now going to respond to her. And what does he say? If you do not know, O most beautiful among women, follow in the tracks of the flock, and pasture you your young goats beside the shepherd's tent. I compare you, my love, to the mature man, to a mare among Pharaoh's chariots. Your cheeks are lovely with ornaments, your neck with strings of jewels. Okay, so here is his point. He responds and says, you are beautiful. He calls her, you are the most beautiful among women. So don't feel that you're not adequate. Don't be insecure, right? If you want me, follow the ordinary paths. All right. He is encouraging her to engage. All right. He says in verse 9, I compare you, my love, to a mare among Pharaoh's chariots. Now, Pharaoh horses tended to be two things: to be very stately, to be very beautiful, to be very captivating, but they were also said to be strong. I mean, they're Pharaoh's mares. All right. So he is saying, you are captivating. You are just as strong as one of Pharaoh's chariots. So she is comparing her to the Pharaoh's fleet of horses. Your cheeks are okay. So he talks about how beautiful she looks. Now notice what the chorus says when he talks about her ornament and her jewels and things. Here's the chorus now. We will make for you ornaments of gold studded with silver. All right. So we are going to be supporting you by adding to your beauty. All right. So
Fisher?
yes.
I'm sorry I'm interrupting you.
No problem. No problem.
At the end of verse 7, is she saying that she wants everyone to know of her love? Is that why she's saying that she doesn't want to be veiled to his companions?
Yes. My love is no secret.
Okay,
I don't want it to be a secret.
great. I'm just trying to hang on, man. Go.
Yeah. You see, I don't, and if you took it to the veil of a covering, I want to broadcast that for everybody. I don't want to hide how I truly feel about you. All right. Yeah, definitely that's the case. I don't want for you to, I don't want you to hide. I don't want to hide myself from you. All right. That's what he's saying. That's what she's saying. All right. So Chip, don't. I encourage you. Whatever time you want to stop me, go ahead. And that goes for David and Emmanuel as well. All right. Now, here is her response. Now, she says, while the king was on his couch, my nard gave forth its fragrance. My beloved is to me a sachet of mirth that lies between my breasts. My beloved is to me a cluster of henna blossoms in the vineyards of Engedi. All right. whoa, what is all of this? All right. Here is what she's suggesting. She has now entered the king's chamber, and he is now lying on his couch. Now, what's a nard? It's a perfume. It's an oil, and it shows wealth. It shows devotion. And what she's saying is that her love and devotion is like the fragrance that just flows from this plant, from this oil. Okay. This aroma is just, and she keeps it close to her heart. All right. It is between my breasts. My beloved is to me a cluster of henna blossoms. What's the henna blossoms? It is here a sort of around the Dead Sea. These were fertile flowers. These were beautiful flowers within the desert. And she's saying, she's saying, all right, in verse 14, in the same way that in a desert an oasis gives refreshment and makes and beautifies the surrounding, that's who that's me. All right, that's me. So does he agree? Behold, you are beautiful, my love. Behold, you are beautiful. Your eyes are doves. Your eyes are doves. Okay, watch, look at this. Uh when she says, even though I am black, I am beautiful, he now agrees with her and says, you are beautiful, your eyes are doves. So she is praising herself. She is putting forward herself. Remember, she's courting, but he is responding. All right? He is saying, yes, I agree. You are beautiful. Now, why would her eyes be like dove? What do you know about doves?
They're
What's the
gentle,
symbol of the dove?
peaceful, gentle.
Exactly. He's saying, your eyes are dove. In other words, you are gentle, you are peaceful. In other words, he does not see anything untoward up in her. All right. So remember, it's this monologue that is going on, this interchange. Behold, you are beautiful, my beloved. That is she now saying this to him. Truly delightful. Our couch is green. The beams of our house are cedar. Our rafters are pine. All right. Now, why would she say our couch is green? What is she suggesting about green? About a green art? You see a lawn that is just beautifully with green. What is she suggesting?
Mine says
It,
luxuriant.
it luxuriant. It is um, you know, lush. It is a place that you would want to rest. It is not brown grass, it is green, it is alive, it is fresh. You can rest here. All right. It is not that she is on his royal bed. The environment is an environment of peace and harmony. And he says to her, that's what you are. All right. Notice now how he is going to highlight certain things. Our couch is green. The beams of our house are cedar. Our rafters are pine. They are strong. They are enduring. So in this case now, they are exchanging their love for each other. All right. Remember, this is now the sanctity of marriage. This is the covenant that marriage is. Hear what she says. Okay, here's what she says. I am a rose of Sharon, a lily of the valleys. As a lily among brambles, so is my love among the young women. All right. Have you ever heard what's the Rose of Sharon and Lily? Do you have any song that says that talks about Lily of the Valleys? Any song that we sing?
I have found a friend in Jesus. He's everything to me.
Exact. Okay. Well, what do you mean when you sing that? You don't know
Jesus.
why you sing it? When you say, I found a friend in Jesus, he's everything to me. He's the lily of the valley, the brighter morning. What are we saying here?
Best of the best.
Right? That's the best of the best. All right. In other words, you are radiant. You are beautiful. All right. I can't remember of any song that talks about the Rose of Sharon, right? But the idea here is that she is not, she is exalting. She says, I am a Rose of Sharon. Among the brambles, I am the lily of the valley. In other words, I am a lily. The other people are thorns. I'm beautiful. I'm pure. I'm gentle. Okay. So she is the. So he says rather, as a lily among the brambles, so is my love among the young women. All right. Now, but here's what she says: as an apple tree among the trees of the forest, so is my beloved among the young men. So, okay, with great delight I sat in his shadow, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. He brought me to the banqueting house, and his banner over me was love. Sustain me with raisins, refresh me with apples, for I am sick with love. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embrace me. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, but the gazelles or the doves of the field, that you do not stir or awaken love until it pleases. Okay, number of things here. Okay, what impression do you get here? She says, as an apple among trees, so is my beloved among the young men. That is how you are to me. What is she doing?
Both of them stand out.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
They're both showing their affection. I mean, as this goes on, this sounds pretty sexual. I don't know.
uh, yes. You see, yes. Yeah. Yes. Because you see, and here is one of the things. What we're seeing here is that this is the joy that we have within the bonds of marriage. Remember that this is about this their genuine love for each other. The woman is suggesting that yes, you are strong. It is talking about the intimacy, the joy that they have in marriage. All right. And the woman is suggesting that she is beautiful, and both of them are complementing each other. Notice what she says. I sat in the shadow of his fruit, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. In other words, I am refreshed. I am safe. All right. Um, she finds his love for her satisfying and delightful. So he brings her into the banqueting house. There is this celebration. There is this joy. There is this fellowship as they celebrate their love for each other. All right. Now, so she takes into the banquet table and all of that. Um, Here is what, okay, do you know any song that talks about his banner over me is, well, I don't know if you know it, but there's a song, his banner over me is love. Have you ever heard, do you know any song like that? Um, well, we usually sing as Jesus is the rock of my salvation. His banner over me is love. What's banner in the what's the banner over me is love?
Ring. I mean, uh, this makes me. It's hard to compare these two in my brain because I'm thinking sexually here, and you're
Mm-hmm.
speaking, in a different tone.
Say it again.
So hard to grasp and
You broke you,
understand what
you
you're
break up a while ago. You break out a while ago. Chip.
keep going.
You gonna repeat what you just said?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
It's just kind of hard to understand, putting these two things together. I understand the banner of love of Jesus. I get that, but man, this is kind of hard for my brain to understand when we're in this kind of talk, of sensuality and woman and man.
But you see here's the point. When you think of I'm coming. When you think of a banner as the banner that we that is used under those things in those days, banner was one of the ways that you showed leadership. Banner was in the battle that they would carry banners identifying one, two, who they belong to. All right. When she says, um, his banner over me is love, she is she's identifying that she publicly is not ashamed to own him. Yes, it is talking about sexual intimacy. And my whole point is this, that here, remember, they are courting each other and they're about to get into marriage. And my whole point here is that one of God's design for marriage is the idea of us enjoying each other. If you look at 1 Corinthians chapter 7, the passage will talk about um, how what should be the arrangement in marriage. All right. So the point I'm making here, I don't want us to. I understand your position, and I agree with you, Chip, and you're right. Notice 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 1. Now concerning matters with which you wrote, it is good for a man not to touch, not to have sexual relations with a woman. All right. So this is condemning sexual immorality. This is not here. This is the genuineness of the married couple becoming one. All right. It suggests two things. Yes, it suggests both intimacy and security. All right. So the banner the banner over me is love. He brought me to his banquet table. He sustained me with raisins and all of that. The idea here is that in the same way that the banner was we don't use the word standard here, but the banner is to identify who you belong to. You're declaring and you're unashamed to display your love for each other because you are fulfilling God's design for marriage. You see, what we have here is, but notice what it says. Sustain me with raisins, refresh me with apples, for I am sick with love. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embrace me. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles of the does of the field. Notice this now. Notice this, that you do not stir up or awaken your love until it pleases. What is the point? Love is, in other words, love is powerful and it is good. Do not stir up these passions. Do not arouse these passions until the appropriate time. In other words, there is a proper time, there is a proper place for you to express that intimacy. When and what time is that proper place? It is that proper place that God has designed in marriage. You see what I'm saying? Any comments? In other words, do not stir or awaken love until it pleases. In other words, there is a time and an appropriate place when that expression ought to be carried out, and it is within the context of marriage. All right. Any Emmanuel, David, anybody wants to comment before I move on? All right. Okay. No.
Hey,
okay.
Brother Fisher.
Yes.
I find it interesting that in verse 3, we see him compared to this apple tree. And then later on, when we get down here into 5, refresh me with the apples. So with your fruit, I suppose, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the whole idea is that the key thing here that you must not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. In other words, there is a proper time for it and a proper context in which that ought to be done. Okay. Now look at what he says. The voice of my beloved. All right. She's still talking. Behold, he comes, leaping over the mountains, pounding over the hills. My beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. Behold, there he stands behind your wall, gazing through the windows, looking through the lattice. My beloved speaks and says to me, arise, my love, my beautiful one, and come away, and behold the winter pass. The rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth. The time of singing has come, and the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. And he goes on to describe these things. Now, what is here it being emphasized? She hears him before she actually sees him. All right? The voice of my beloved. Ah, here he's coming. All right? Now, they can, in this regard, they are obstacles to be overcome. There are mountains, there are hills to reach the point where they want to go. In other words, there are obstacles that require energy and effort on their part. Good. And then now she speaks of my beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. What is the point? He is graceful. He is swift. He's full of life. He's full of vigor. All right. He is someone that she admires. All right. And what is she suggesting? Arise, my love, verse 10. My beautiful one, come and come away. You notice what he calls her? He calls her my love, my beautiful one in verse 10. All right. Okay. So the idea is notice the descriptions. My beloved speaks to me. In verse 14, O my dove, in the clefts of the rock, in the crannies of the cliff, let me see your face. Let me hear your voice, for your voice is sweet and your face is lovely. Catch the foxes for us, the little foxes that spoil the vineyards for our vineyard are in blossom. Remember, who is this lady? What do we know about her?
Hard worker. Been
She's
out
a
in the
hard
fields.
worker. But what do we know else about her?
She's beautiful on the inside.
Yes, you're right. But I'm going to read something else. Catch the foxes for us. The little foxes that spoil the vineyards for our vineyard are in blossoms. Who is she? Remember that she worked in the vineyard. Remember? She told him, I am black and I've been working in the vineyard because of whatever. So he's talking about her work in the vineyard. So she is hardworking, but here's the point. She cannot wait to join him. There are obstacles and there are challenges, but she cannot wait to join him in their relationship, in their sexual union, in their marital union. All right. Now, look at verse 16 to 17. In fact, starting on verse 15. Catch the foxes for us. All right. Catch the foxes for us, the little foxes that spoil the vineyards. For our vineyard is in blossom. My beloved is mine. I am his. He grazes among the lilies until the day breathes and the shadows flee. Turn, my beloved, be like a gazelle or a young stag on cleft mountains. What is she suggesting here?
It sounds like she's saying that he can come out and enjoy this lily of the valley.
Yes, she is anticipating their marriage. She is anticipating their union together.
Can we say that they might have gotten the cart before the horse here?
It would seem like that.
Right.
Yes, it would seem like that. I hear you, and it's as if she cannot wait. It's as if she's seeing it before it happens. She's envisioning, this is how I will relate to my beloved. All right? This is how I will relate to this person that I actually and truly love. All right? So, what is the point here? She is the one for her beloved. But not only that, the feeling is mutual. He is also, she is his and he is hers. All right? She is longing to be with him. She is ready for the marriage to be consummated. She is desirous of being with him in a marital relationship. All right. Any comments? David, Emmanuel, anything about this chapter 2?
Nope.
Yes, David.
All clear.
All clear. Okay, Emmanuel. All right. Okay. If you don't have it, let me go on. No, we're going to come now. So what is it? Remember what we said is happening here? What we said is happening here are two things. One, in chapter 1, they are expressing their love for each other. All right? In chapter 2, there is the marriage and there is the consummation of the marriage, but there are also the challenges to the marriage. All right. Now, I want us to see in chapter 3 that there are two movements within this chapter. And we can divide the chapter naturally divides into two areas here. Number one, the first, we have the woman's anxious night search for her beloved. She's searching through the night for her beloved. All right. Secondly, from verse 6 to 11, there is going to be now the procession for the wedding. They're about to be married. All right. Now, here is what we have. In chapter 2, they are expressing their love for each other. That's private, but it's between both of them. All right. They are expressing to each other how they feel about each other. But now what happens here is that they are going to move from their private fears, right? They're going to move from their private inhibitions, if you want to call it that. All right? And now they are going to make their love for each other public. The joy that they feel for each other is going to be made public. They are now going to demonstrate the security that they have with each other. All right? Look at verses 1 to 5. All right? Watch this. On my bed by night, I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but found him not. I will rise now and go about the city, in the street and in the squares. I will seek him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but found him not. The watchmen found me as they went about in the city. Have you seen him whom my soul loves? Scarcely had I passed them when I found him whom my soul loves. I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house and into the chamber of her who conceived me. I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or the does of the field, that you do not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. What is happening here? What is she doing here?
Seems as if she's trying to tell these women to cool it until she gets married
All right, it's the same phrase.
that we saw
Do
right
not
in two.
wait. That verse 5, that you not stir up or awaken love until it pleases. That's the same thing in chapter 2, verse 7. All right. No. Here is the idea. It is that time on my bed by night. All right. She is on her bed or in her bed, however you want to put it. And she is looking. She's going to get up and look for her husband. That time of night would suggest that she is uncertain. Uncertain about what? about where to find him. So she has to go and search for him. All right. In the nighttime, she is saying that where is he? All right. Now, when you read chapter 3, verse 1 to 5, does it remind you of any other thing that Solomon has said before? Look at the actions of this woman.
Yep.
Does she compare or does she contrast with any other action that we have seen earlier in the wisdom literature?
She
Say it again.
contrasts the woman in the street. I think that's in Proverbs 5, is that, or 6 or 7? 5, 6, 7.
All right. Convince me, Chip. Try to
Well,
convince.
I remember we were reading before, and this woman, this immoral woman who would lure unwise men after her, was mentioned and talked about quite a bit. Proverbs 5, 6, 7. Um, the woman that we're speaking of in Song of Solomon so far has been described as the lily of the valley. So we're looking at two sides of a coin. The the immoral woman and then the moral woman, maybe. It's hard to make that definition quite yet.
All right. Okay. Bingo. What I want to see, and that is exactly what we have here. When you compare this woman's action with the woman in Proverbs 5, 6, and 7, here are some things. The woman in 5, 6, and 7 in Proverbs is immoral. She is going to, where is it? She is going to stir up and awaken something that is not hers. Right? So she's going to deceive this innocent young man, all right, who is lacking in wisdom. And her action, she's going to move around the town, she's going to lure him, she's going to do all of that. This is not that woman. In an opposite way, this woman is looking for her legitimate partner, that they have committed their love for each other and are going to express their love for each other within the bounds of God-ordained marriage. The woman in Proverbs 5, 6, and 7, they are violating God's law for marriage. This woman is willing to accept and live by the God's terms for marriage. Why? She's not going to awaken her love until it pleases, until the time is right. Okay? Yes.
Sorry, I, it seems to me like this first 4 verses in chapter 3 sounds like a dream. Like she's dreaming with that moment. She's dreaming to be with him already. And I like that verse. Uh, this is the second time that appears, verse 5. And I noticed that it's kind of, how can I say it? It's like she realizing, oh, I need to stop this thought. Oh, daughters of Israel, help me to stop this thought.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, here is it now. um, this is, in fact, we could say rightly that this is, in fact, a dream. We get the idea of this dream-like quality here. And yes, No, I need to stop. I need to stop. I can't be dreaming like this. I can't be fantasizing like this. Here is what she does. She's lying on her bed and she is dreaming, but she abruptly ends that dream and goes and wanders in the night looking for her to be husband. Notice, here are some things. I want you to see this. I sought him. I sought him. I will rise now and go about the city. I will seek him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but found him not. The watchman found me. Have you seen him whom my soul loves? When I found him, whom my soul loves, I held him. What do these things say to us? It is suggesting the deep love that she has for him and the pain, emotional distress she would have if she did not find him. All right? So she does not want to lose him. She does not want to be separated from him. You see what I mean? So she goes looking for him. And then, yes, David, I adjure you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelle or the does in the field, that you do not stir up or waken love until it pleases. The watchmen found me. Have you seen him whom I... So she doesn't want to lose him at all. So she gets up out of this dream that she has and she goes seeks after him. All right. So she is going into the city and she's notice, she is publicly asking the watchmen, have you seen him? But that is not what she says. Have you seen him whom my soul loves? And so you get, here is the point now. I want you to see this. Where is she when she is, where is she in the night? At the
In her
beginning of the
bed.
chapter. On her bed. All right? She is on her bed. So she is in her, the privacy of her bedroom. Good? But then notice where she goes. She goes to the city. She goes to the street. She goes to the square. She goes to public places and she is repeating. I have sought him, but I found him not. Where is this? Where is my? What does she? Where is him whom my soul loves? So there is the contrast with both the privacy of her bedroom, plus going about publicly to declare her love. All right. Here is the point. All right. Sorry. Love, watch this. Love does not sit in fear. Love does not lie in fear. Perfect love casteth out fear. 1 John 4:8. What does it do? It gets up, it seeks, it searches, and it resolves. It is not going to end until it finds love. You see what I mean? So this is this woman. Now notice now um the the reverse. What is it that coming, what is it that coming up from the wilderness like columns of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all the fragrant powders of a merchant? Behold, it is the litter of Solomon. Around it are 60 mighty men, some of the mighty men of Israel, all of them wearing swords and expert in war, each with its swords at his thigh against terror by night. King Solomon made himself, where am I? King
9.
Solomon made himself a carriage from the woods of Lebanon. He made it post of silver, its back of gold, its seat of purple, its interior was inlaid with love by the daughters of Jerusalem. Go out, O daughters of Zion, and look upon King Solomon with the crown with which his mother crowned him on the day of his wedding, on the day of the gladness of his heart. What is happening here?
Wedding.
The wedding.
I like I liked how this pictures like the parable of the 10 virgins during the night and
Mm-hmm.
the husband coming.
Yes. All right. So here what we have here, we have a royal procession. It is the royal procession and the wedding. So we are no longer with this woman who is lonely, seeking and searching out for her husband. But what we find now is this grand procession of um, Solomon coming for the wedding. And you see all of the fanfare, all of the glory, all of the pomp, all of the celebration, all of the pride, all of the whatever. This is now the wedding. All right. So Solomon comes in all of his glory and splendor, and he has come to wed this woman. Um, so this is what we have had here. Look at verse 11. Go out, O daughters of Zion, and look upon King Solomon with the crown with which his mother crowned him on the day of his wedding, on the day of the gladness of his heart. All right. So the king marries not no for political reasons. Why is he marrying here?
His heart is glad.
That's it. He's marrying on the day of the gladness of his heart. All right. So this now Solomon comes to the wedding. Now let's go into chapter 4. All right. Here is where we're going to go now and see what chapter 4 is doing. Could one of you read up to verse 8 for me?
I got you. How beautiful you are, my darling. How beautiful you are. Your eyes are like doves behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats that has descended from Mount Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of newly shorn ewes, which have come up from their washing, all of which bear twins, and not one among them has lost her young. Your lips are like a scarlet thread, and your mouth is lovely. Your temples are like a slice of pomegranate behind your veil. Your neck is like the Tower of David, built with rows of stone, on which are hung 1,000 shields, all the round shields of the mighty men. Your two breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle which fed among the lilies. Until the cool of the day when the shadows flee away, I will go my way to the mountains of myrrh and to the hills of frankincense. You are altogether beautiful, my darling, and there is no blemish in you. Come with me from Lebanon, my bride. May you come with me from Lebanon. Journey down from the summit of Amana, from the summit of Sinar and Hermon, from the dens of lions, from the mountains of leopards.
All right. Okay. Solomon in this section here now, Solomon is describing his bride. All right. He is describing his bride, and she is beautiful. She has captivated him. And so what we have here is a vivid description of how he sees her, his reaction to her. All right. So here's what we have. Now, Solomon is the one who is speaking now here. So there is a change of voice. It is Solomon who is now speaking. So what we have in this verse is this. We have several similes. All right? Several similes that Solomon is using to describe the beauty of his bride. So notice, and I want you to see the description. All right? What does Solomon describe? Take it verse by verse and tell me what, in the order, what is he describing?
All of her beauty. He describes first her eyes, and then
Mm-hmm.
her hair, and her teeth, and her lips, her mouth, her neck, her breasts. I think that's it.
Yeah, and here's what, and the what verse does he describe her neck?
4.
4.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He also describes, I think, her did you say cheeks?
I did not.
Yeah. After lips, he says your cheeks are like halves of a pomegranate. I think
Mine
that's what.
says your temples are like a slice of pomegranate.
Yes, right, exactly. So here is what Solomon is suggesting. She is perfect beauty. They are white, pure. They are not just white and pure, her teeth, that is, but in smiling, she shows her teeth that they are white. Notice what he says. Even behind the veil, her beauty cannot be hidden. She's strong. She is all that beauty is. And so, what does Solomon do now? Solomon says, you know what? He sees in her perfection, and here is what is the idea. There is nothing to complain about. It's just utter praise. All right, now notice what she does now. He says, I just want to point this out to you. He talks about where is it? A man. He calls it Amana. Where is that verse? Yes, verse 8.
Brother,
All right. Yes.
I like the end of verse 7 where it says, there is not spot in thee, thinking about the holy church like a bride
Yeah.
with no blemish,
Without
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 blemish.
spot or blemish. Exactly. Yes. You see, here it is now. The Amana is there's a river that's there, and there are two rivers. Look at 2 Kings 5 and verse 12. Let me point this out to you. 2 Kings 5 and verse 12. Just a reference sake.
Are not Havana and Farfar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Shall I not wash in them and be clean? And he turned and went on in fury.
It seems as if that is the river that Solomon is talking about. That river that was so pure and clean. One of the best of rivers that Assyria had, or Syria had. All right. Now, notice now what Solomon is going to do. You have captivated my heart, my sister, my bride. You have captivated my heart with one glance of your eyes, with one jewel of your necklace. How beautiful is your love, my sister, my bride. How much better is your love than wine, and the fragrance of your oils than any spice. Your lips drip nectar, my bride, honey and milk under your tongue. The fragrance of your garments is like the fragrance of Lebanon. A garden locked is my sister, my bride, a spring locked, a fountain sealed. Your shoots are an orchard of pomegranates with all choice fruits, henna and with nard with scaphon, calamus and cinnamon, with all trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes, with all choice of spices, a garden fountain as well of living water and flowing streams from Lebanon. Awake, O north wind, and come, O south wind, blow upon my garden, let its spices flow. Any comments? Solomon is saying here to his bride, you are beautiful. There, you are flawless. Now, you have captivated my heart.
All
But
this
now watch
fruit
this.
talk,
Hmm?
all this fruit talk makes me think about, the fruit that you produce.
Right. Not just the fruit that she, but what is that fruit that she produces?
Well, at this point, it seems to be being right in the sight of God because she's doing everything necessary to do the right thing.
As
There
well
are two things. Yes, David.
as well it reminds me when God was talking about the promised land, the overflow, honey, milk, and every kind of good fruit.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. It's not just, Emmanuel, you have any point? You have anything you want to say? Here is the point. She has captivated his heart for two reasons. Number one, because of her physical beauty. All right. And all of these descriptions of the fruit suggest that she is fresh, that she is lovely, that she is somebody to be adored, not just because of her physical beauty, but because of her personality and morality. Okay? Now, here is, by the way, look at verse 9. Verse 9, verse 10. Where else is it? Okay, look at verses 9 to verse 10. Who is Solomon talking about in verse 9 and 10?
Sister and a spouse.
All right. My sister, my bride, my spouse. Why is he calling her sister? Is she
It
bride or sister?
sounds like she's upright in the sight of God. Maybe that has something to do with it.
All right. Why is she calling him her? Why is he calling her my sister? All right. Let me do this. How are you, brother?
Fantastic.
When I call you brother, or when I call somebody my sister, what is what am I suggesting? What am I saying?
That you're related, but not by blood. Actually, by blood, but not ours.
All right.
I like
No,
the fact that he didn't.
spiritually they are one.
Okay, let me hear Emmanuel. Yes, Emmanuel.
I'm thinking of spiritually they are one.
There is a sort of let me hear it. David, and I'll make my comment. Yes, yes, David.
I noticed that he didn't call her uh, like this before getting married. So probably has to be with something like that.
You see, here's my point. There's this connection. There's this relationship, all right, based on her physical beauty, but also because of her spirituality. There is a bond that goes. She's not just a friend. Um, she is almost a part of him. In other words, there's a certain sense of familiarity, of bonding. There's a certain sort of connection that cannot be separated. You are my sister. You are someone whom I respect. You are someone who I cherish. You are someone who I want to have a relationship with, but you are also my bride. You are also, on the one hand, my love for you is more than just an ordinary bride. There's a connection that I have with you. Why? You have captivated my heart. So I treat you now not just as a friend. I'm treating you now not just as any other woman that I'm going to cause my bride, but I have this strong connection with you. I have this strong bond and this relationship with you that can never be broken. How is she going to respond? Let my beloved come to his garden and eat its choicest fruits. You can't get stronger than that. All right. So Solomon, no, this is the wedding. This is, they have now bonded. They are now united. They are now one. And they are going to enjoy their marital relationship. All right. They're going to grow together. All right. So what is Solomon, Songs of Solomon about up to this point? Yes. Okay. Let me ask you. Given what we have so far, which interpretation of Solomon would you take?
I would take the literal interpretation so far.
All right. David, which one would you take?
Yeah, it gives many details about Solomon, about Israel, valiant man. So yeah, the literal is the first option in hermeneutics.
All right. So you would take the literal?
Yes, but for application, yes, you can do more. But
Okay. All
the
right.
literal,
So
yeah.
so you would take the typical then, that both of them are merging, the literal and the spiritual connection. All right. Um, Emmanuel is laughing. Which one would you take?
Literal and spiritual connection.
Okay, you take the typical one. Here's what I want us to consider here is one, here's what I want you to consider for next class. Where in the New Testament, when it talks about Christ's love for the church, where in the New Testament does it link that connection to Songs of Solomon? Think about that for next class. Can you find any passage that talks about Christ's love for the church that it links it to the Songs of Solomon? Think about that, and we will look at chapters 5 to 8 in the next class. All right, but you see, your interpretation of the text of the book. Let me not say that. Think about it. Think about it for next class. All right, can be just think about that for the next class. All right. Okay. What you all think about Song of Solomon now? I'm not asking for interpretation. I'm just asking your response. Nobody responds.
I think I have a really good wife. That's what's become. I think I have a really good wife. That's kind of what's shown to the surface as we study, the definition of what a good woman does.
All right. Okay. All right. David, what do you think of this?
I like the way she praises him and vice versa. He praises her. I like that. And that should be married as well all the time.
Yeah. All right. Emmanuel, what do you think?
I'm thinking of marriage is designed by God, and we need to cherish it. As we read these 4 passages.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, it's up to here. We're seeing the God's design for marriage and the beauty and the fulfillment that we can get out of marriage. All right. Let me just remind you that come by about Wednesday or Thursday. Well, at the end of the class on Thursday, I will have the final exam. It's the same format like the one in Proverbs on Friday, and you have a week to do that. And then the following week, you can work. If you have finished your sermons, fine, but you have up until then to give me that. All right? Okay, then. Thank you much. Emmanuel, you want to dismiss us, please?
Let's pray. We thank you, God Almighty, for your numerous blessings that you continue to bestow upon our life. At this juncture, we appreciate the teachings that you are giving to us by the book of Songs of Solomon. We also appreciate our lecturer, our brother Eddie, for the grace and wisdom that you've given upon him, for him to impart this knowledge unto us. Father, we pray that you continue to bless him and strengthen him, give him strength so that he will, anytime he pick up your scripture, give him understanding, and also we that we are learning, give us brave understanding so that we can also impart unto others, so that at the end we all with one accord, when you comes into your glory, we say hallelujah be unto your name. We thank you for listening to our prayer through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you, gentlemen, and we will see each other on Thursday.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
right.
All
Thank you,
right.
sir.
Yeah, man, no problem. You're welcome.